Okay, so we've been doing a lot of metal videos recently, or videos involving the genre of metal, and you guys seem to be liking those, so I'm going to continue the trend. I want to show you two of the metal presets or metal VSTs that I'm using quite often, and we'll actually throw a third one in there while we're at it, just so you guys can see kind of what they sound like on their own, and then you can obviously see how they sound in context if you listen to any of the music. So let's go ahead and get this on here. Let's go ahead and open another one. Let's get Odin 3 on here. So far we opened Odin 2 and Odin 3, and then let's open Ample Metal Hellrazer. Pick another track. Now Odin 2 is the one that I got first. It works pretty good. Let's go ahead and pick guitar 1. Let's go ahead and go to Odin 3, and kind of the same situation here. I'll go into here, and then let's click guitar 1, and then Ample Metal. Let's just go in here, and we'll leave it on the default. Okay, so starting with Odin 2, the earliest, I believe, out of all these, this is what it sounds like. I really don't find these settings to do too much besides the humanize here. It basically just makes the notes off time. If we go into advanced, you have the bend intensity, the decay intensity, and the tremolo intensity. Force phase, raw mode, an octave drop, and then latching or non-latching. I'm not a guitar player, I don't know what that means, and I don't know what majority of the stuff means. I just mess around with it to see what sounds good. You do have some key controls if you go down a couple octaves, like C or ASD on your keyboard rather, will change the type of switching, I think, or picking. I don't really mess with that. I just kind of mess around with the velocities to do around the same thing. So that's what that sounds like, just the bass tone. If we go ahead and open something like Neural DSP, that's the main amp I use. It sounds pretty decent. Let's go ahead and go into Odin 3 now. I believe this one has a amp built in. It doesn't really sound that great in my opinion. But if you do have a situation where you don't have an amp, it could work for the time being, maybe just to send off demos and stuff so you don't have to get the extra plugins. So that's Odin 2. Odin 3, and if we pop on that same amp preset, this one does sound a little bit more real, and then we have actually the key switch list here, so you can see exactly which ones you need to enable to make your guitar sound a little bit more real. Again, I just mess with the velocities most of the time. Now last but not least, Ample Metal Hellrazer. We actually have to go down an octave to get this to play the same. This one in it has a doubler, which it sounds like it's enabled by default. It's not, so here's with the doubler. So it's a lot more wide. It just sounds more polished already. I like to use a combination of all three of these, as the Odin 2 can offer a little bit more of like a program sound, something to fill in the space. But most of the time I'll be using Odin 3 and Ample Metal combined, so I'll do something like a left and right stack with Odin 3, and then Ample Metal will be kind of my mid guitar that's filling in some frequencies. So let's go and delete these, and let me show you what I mean. So all in my group down here, I have an Ableton starter folder. We'll pop into metal here. Let's go to guitars, and then I can open the stack. So now I have a left guitar, that's my Odin 3, which is actually on the right. And then I have a left guitar actually, which is Odin 3 again. I just have that for nameless, and I use different amp presets just to make them sound a little bit different. So here's a right. Here's a left. Here is the mid guitar. This is the Ample Metal Hellrazer. Doing more of those mid frequencies. And then on this track specifically, I have a transient just to make it sound like the keys are actually being plucked. And then all together. So everything all together sounds like a pretty realistic guitar section, about as realistic as you're going to get it until you start messing with key switches and stuff like that. And then if we actually go and we look at something that I've actually written and mastered, here's what everything sounds like in context with other elements as well. So those are the guitars I use. That's how it sounds in context. Processing is really going to be up to you, what kind of metal guitar sound you like. A lot of bands use a little high fizzy tone. I'm more of a clarity guy over the fizz. So just mess around with equalizers, reverbs, stuff like that to make the sound like you want it to sound, or even go into places or videos where they show you breakdown of other people's guitars that you like and kind of copy the EQs and stuff there and then model it to fit your own style. But hopefully you enjoyed the video. Let me know if you want to keep seeing metal stuff on the channel, and make sure you leave a like on the video and subscribe to the channel. But with all that being said, we'll see you again on the next one.